Hey, what's going on, YouTube? So it's been about 2 weeks since I last made a video. So good amount has happened in between that amount of time, and during this video today I'm just going to kind of update you on it and update you on what's going to continue to be happening after this video and in the coming months and weeks. So these last 2 weeks I've covered two chapters. Chapter 9 and chapter 10. Chapter 9 is covering dictionaries and kind of how to manipulate within a dictionary and everything. It's similar to lists, but also different. So that was chapter 9. So pretty similar to chapter 8, talking about lists, but chapter 9 was discussing more of dictionaries and everything, and also chapter 10, which discuss tuples, which are also similar to lists and kind of how to manipulate what you can and can't do with those. So with the assignments, chapter 9 and chapter 10, both the assignments that I did, I was actually pretty proud of myself. There were a couple times where I did get stuck and had to look for help outside of the course and kind of look how people were able to work through, sections of it. But there was a good amount. Now, it took a lot of time for me to kind of sit back and be like, okay, what do I do next? And let me go ahead and look back over the course material that I've learned, even in the past assignments, and see what I need to do here. But for the most part, at least 80% of it, I was able to kind of figure out, 90% able to kind of figure out on my own, more or less using the coursework and the stuff that we went over in those chapters. So it's encouraging, honestly. I think the main thing is just really not getting into a hurry and really just sitting with it for a while, and just, if it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours to figure out how to do the assignment, then so be it. It was last night, actually, I finished chapter 10, and I spent a good while doing it. But I just was able to take my time and think about the different things we've worked on in this course, in different ways that I can get to the answer. And afterwards, honestly, I was able to get to the answer, but I got to the answer a little bit differently than some of the other ways that I found. But I was still able to use what I learned in the course to find the right answer, more or less. Now, I still needed to look up a little extra help with a couple of things, but for the most part, I felt pretty good about it. So for me, it was a little unexpected, but chapter 10 is actually the last chapter in the course. So I'm finished with this course. I did the Python first 5 chapters, the Python for everybody, and then the 5 through 10, chapters 5 through 10, data structures. So I just got finished with the data structures course, which are the only 2 courses that are a part of the whole course, I guess. You know what I mean? So I got a certificate for completion of both of them. So definitely happy. I mean, so my first video was 2 months ago. I started this about 2 months ago, and I have learned a lot. A lot of the stuff that I've learned now, I mean, I obviously had just no clue about 2 months ago. So my overall review, I mean, feeling after taking this course, do I feel like I've mastered everything in it? No. There's definitely still a lot to learn, a lot I could learn, a lot maybe down the road I could review, but I have definitely learned a lot in 2 months, really. I enjoyed the way that the courses were set out. There were several videos that you would watch, basically lectures with PowerPoints, with basically kind of visual work through material there. They had a quiz, and then they had the assignments, which obviously in the beginning were a little more easier, but every assignment used content from the previous chapters. So it was good. Each assignment was more and more review. Sometimes the professor that was doing it, sometimes he'd kind of go through things a little quick for me, but the nice thing is you can always just, go right back and watch it again or however. But overall, I feel really good about completing this course. This is my first course learning anything about code, and I believe that I've learned quite a bit of the basics, and I feel like this is definitely something that I can build upon moving forward. So for anyone that's looking to just break into coding and break into just learning Python, I definitely recommend this course. Like I said, going from learning just the basics, going from the basics to learning to composite a pretty good amount of code and some fairly complicated code, and learning how to manipulate files and do things with files, trying to figure out, how much of this email is in the file, or just a lot of different things that I have the ability to do now. Of course, I'm going to have to review, and, I think it comes along with practice, but definitely have a good amount of the basics done, I feel like. So moving forward, as I mentioned in my very first video, I'm going to do a matter of 4 courses. We'll kind of see how long they take, we'll see if I'm able to be done kind of maybe by the end of next year. Honestly, if not, that's okay. I just want to make sure that I'm continuing to build on my knowledge of just learning how to code so that I can eventually get myself a job, preferably as like a software engineer, somewhere around that. So the next course on the agenda I'm going to start doing is the Odin Project. I believe it covers quite a bit. It's not necessarily Python related, but it's more about, building websites. And honestly, I'm not sure all that it is going to cover. But yeah, so honestly, that's next on the agenda for me. And so just a reminder to those of you that haven't seen my very first video, I'm kind of going off of the courses and the criteria stated by the Internet Made Coder in his video that's also linked in in the description of my first video. Again, one of the first courses he his whole thing is, he learned how to code and got a job within 4 months. That's not going to be the case for me, because I don't have as much time to fully dedicate to it. So I have to set aside time during the week because I have a full-time job and I have, newly married, have other things kind of going on in my life. But one of the first courses he took was the Python for Everybody course that I just completed. And the second, I believe, was the Odin Project, which I'm going to take now. And then there's 2 other courses as well that are through Harvard, I believe. Free courses. At least that's what he said. I'll find out. The Python for Everybody course, that was free too, and that was $50 a month, but it's very, very reasonable. Very reasonable. But yeah, so the Odin Project is next, and I'm excited to get started on it. I'm excited to jump into the learning aspect of it, and really just kind of see how things go, and see where I'm at when I get through with it. Because again, I started not knowing anything at all, and after taking this course, I definitely have a better idea of what coding is, and definitely just a better idea of just how to do at least fairly basic code, and how to manipulate and do things with files, and learn some pretty purposeful things as well. So I'm excited and looking forward to getting started with this next course. And yeah, I have those 2 certificates now that I can put on a resume and just continue to try to build a portfolio there. And yeah, go from there. So I'm looking forward to it. So again, I'm going to kind of stay on the schedule of trying to do a video every 2 months and 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That'd be way too much material to cover. But 2 weeks, and just kind of update you guys on how I'm doing. Continue to just hold myself accountable with everything, and just discuss kind of what we are covering in whatever material I kind of cover in the course in that amount of time. And yeah, just, you know, praying can just kind of keep up, picking up steam, and really just compound the knowledge that I picked up from the Python for Everybody course. I just want to thank you all again for stopping by and checking out my channel. For those of you that have, you know, given encouragement or constructive criticism and anything like that, I continue to just encourage that. Feel free to leave any advice, encouragement on my channel here going forward in the comments. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. And thank you guys so much for stopping by. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Y'all have a good one. Bye.